Hi, you're watching The Future is Female, the show where we find the extraordinary in every woman. I'm Melissa Idris, and joining me on the show today we have Mariani Ramli, who is the advisor of the Gibbon Protection Society Malaysia, which she founded back in 2016 here in Raut Pahang. She's more affectionately known as Bum Arrogancia, so welcome Bum to the show. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming all the way from KL to here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and I wanted to say congratulations for all the accolades that you have won so far for your good work. I mean, last year you received the American Primatological Society Award, and before that you were chosen as one of the top 5 women in leadership for environment sustainability. And you are also the project director of the Gibbon Rehabilitation Project, which you've started since 2013. I want to know, Bam, how you got into this line of work. I mean, specifically your work with Gibbons. How did you become so passionate about Gibbons?
I always love outdoor activities, and then I started I work with wildlife department since 2007.
Right.
And then by the same time, I still join outdoor activities. So I fall in love with primates, especially gibbons, during my work in the department. And then 2012, I've been loaned by Copenhagen Zoo, Denmark. And then from there, I learn more about conservation for animals.
Okay, so why gibbons specifically? What is it about gibbons that made you fall in love with them?
Because of their similarity to human.
Okay.
They are, from all primates and apes, they are most similar because of because of their socialization. They are the only monogamy apes, non-human primates.
That means they find one partner and mate for life?
Yes, they mate for life, and they're willing to die to protect the family member.
So other apes, other primates, they don't mate for life, is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
other primates, they are like polygamy or polyandry, or like even chimpanzee, gorilla, they one male, many female. But
Okay.
gibbons, one male, one female, just few, like a couple of children.
Okay, so they have very small families, they mate for life, very much like
Yes.
humans. Okay, so what else makes gibbons special?
Because they're the only singing primates in the world.
Singing primates?
They sing, they make our jungle like make melodies in the jungle.
Okay.
And also they communicate through vocalization. They talk like us. They have their own words. Gibbons. So they are so special in my eyes, and I think people should know they are so special.
Okay. Okay, so how many species of gibbons? So gibbons are, found in Malaysia. They're found in the wild in Malaysia. How many species are found in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, actually, we have 5 species of gibbons. But what makes this country so
Special?
is because we have the biggest gibbons in the world and the smallest gibbons in the world.
So the biggest gibbons, also known as siamang, right?
Yes.
So gibbons in Malay, unka,
Yeah,
or
unka.
siamang. So the biggest species of gibbon would be siamang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of gibbons, what species of gibbons do you have here at the center?
Here for now we only have one species, is the white-handed gibbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you talked about how they have the socialization is like humans, so live within like little nucleus families, and then the vocalization. Also, they sing and they talk like humans. What about how they live? They live on the treetops, and do they move around? Do they migrate from different areas of the jungle?
Yeah, see, gibbons is a highly arboreal primates. They are not like macaque.
Arboreal means to
Stay up on
stay,
the tree.
okay.
Up high on the tree canopy, and they are like one family consists maximum 6 family member.
Okay.
They are like I can say their home. Their house is 2 to 3 kilometers in the jungle.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why they sing early morning to mark the territory, to tell other family don't go into my house.
Okay, so the singing is actually telling other gibbons that this area is my area.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also they sing if there's one bachelor gibbon here, single gibbons, they will sing to attract female or another male
I
to
see.
come to my house.
Right.
I can sing really well.
Okay, so it's a way to kind of attract mates as well. All right.
Also, they take care this 2 to 3 kilometers part of jungle very very good, because on there's few species of trees only gibbons can disperse the seed, you know.
Oh.
So every family take responsible to take care of this 3 kilometers of jungle.
So that's the importance of making sure that there are gibbons in the ecosystem,
Yes.
because without gibbons there are trees that will not be able to populate.
Yes.
Okay, so what are some of the natural predators for gibbons? Do they have natural predators?
Gibbons, I can say actually they don't really have natural predators, but nowadays humans are the biggest threats.
We are the biggest
threats.
predator.
Because of the deforestation, and now Malaysia helps. I mean, now their biggest threat is more to illegal pet trade. It's
Pet
booming.
trade. Okay, so that means people wanting gibbons as pets, and then they buy it from illegal traders. All right, I'm gonna get into that in a bit, but I do want to talk a little bit about the gibbon population here in Malaysia. So, do you know how many gibbons are left in the wild?
This is some of the saddest part also here in our country. We still don't know how many gibbons left in our jungle.
Wow.
Last research been made is at 1980s.
30 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Wow.
Like this species, white-handed gibbons, there are only 46 or 49,000 left in the jungle. So because of their socialization, monogamy, to get one, the whole family will be killed. So do you know, you can estimate how many, and research been found that to get one baby, it's around 10 to 20 will die during the process.
They have to kill 10 or 20 gibbons for one baby, and they always go for the baby, right? Because it's easier to capture the baby.
Easier to tame, to become pet. More macho male to become pet.
Right. So then you mean to kill off the family members, because the family members will come and protect the little baby?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Before we get into the threats, and I want to go deeply into why people, want gibbons as pets, I want to talk a little bit about your gibbon rehabilitation project. You're doing great work here. You took us around to have a look at what you're doing. It's amazing. It's very private, so you limit the human interaction between, the gibbons get quite stressed when they meet people they don't know. So talk to me about how you rehabilitate gibbons. What do you have to do?
Okay, the most important thing here in rehabilitation, I can say, is I need to minimize human contact, especially new faces. I don't want them to trust all human. Not all human are good. Right? So here in our project, we strictly followed International Union Conservation of Nature best guideline for gibbon rehabilitation and translocation.
For instance, what are some of the best practices for that? That means limit human interaction, give them space to play.
Give them space. Also the cage size, the design, and what food that we should give, the enrichment, things like that. And of course, before we can release them, they need to fulfill the 7 criteria. Before we can release them to the jungle.
And can you give me a very quick rundown of what the 7 criteria are?
Yeah. Some of them, like, they need to know how to sing, because wild gibbons sing to mark their territory. These gibbons, rehabilitation gibbons, need to mimic, need to follow close to what wild gibbons do, so we can make sure they survive in the jungle.
So gibbons that you have rescued or you take on, they don't know how to sing?
Yeah, some of them don't know how to sing because they live with human, and they don't know how to sing. And some of them try to kill themselves. And singing means you establish an area as your territory. So if you don't have motivation because of your owner treat you so bad, that's why you don't want to sing. What makes you want to sing? Yeah, you're so sad. So that's why there are gibbons here. He tried to kill himself, pulling his own hair, biting his own hand. So I cannot release him until he can sing.
Right. So the gibbons that you took us around to see some of the gibbons in the enclosure. Some of them are infants, like the ones behind you. They're still young and they're learning. And the ones that are a bit older that you took us to see earlier, they have been with you for several years, right?
Yes.
the rehabilitation process is very long, is it?
Very long.
Okay, why does it take so long?
Depends on the history and trauma of each Gibbons. Each of them, like I said, need to fulfill these 7 criteria, you know. Like they need to know how to sing. Okay, if singing is okay, then check. And then their biological clock need to be normal. Gibbons supposed to be active during the day and sleep during the night. Some Gibbons that used to be pets, they're active during the night. So they cannot, what will they do in the jungle if they're active during the night?
Okay.
They cannot find food, they are not with the night predator.
Right.
And they need to brachiate, like swing, really well on between trees or on trees, okay?
So they need to learn that from other gibbons,
Yes.
right? So every time, you know, you're taking a gibbon away for the illegal pet trade, it's one gibbon.
Yeah.
So, and they are social, they need to learn from other gibbons.
Yes.
So when you have, in your rehabilitation center, you have a few gibbons together so that they can learn from each other, is it?
They learn from each other.
All right. So what other things do you have to rehabilitate them so that they learn before you can release them?
Their biological clock, their natural behavior, and the most important is before we can release them, we need to help them establish one small family unit, like a father, mother, and a young baby. After they give birth, we need to monitor if the female know how to give birth to the baby, because this female, they don't see her mother doing that because he's been raised by a human, you know.
Right.
So there are cases, not from Malaysia, where the female under rehabilitation, when something go out from her,
she doesn't know what it is.
She doesn't know, and she keep on throwing that thing. So we don't want that to happen. We need to make sure this couple need to know how to take care of the babies. Then we release them to the jungle.
Because you know there are a lot of people who say after capture just release, but that you need a process, right?
Yes.
You need to rehabilitate, teach them the skills required for survival before you release them.
Yeah, because Gibbons are apes. They are almost similar to us.
Right.
Even they share 97 DNA, same like
97.
human. Yeah.
Wow.
So let's say, imagine your child, he's just like 2-3 years old baby. You just put him in a shopping complex. What will he do?
That's
she
right.
Don't know anything. Right. You put him in a park. She don't even know what the use of the swinging or things like that. We need to help them to
learn.
Okay. You know, and for these gibbons here, we don't really. I don't say we really train them. We encourage them to remember again, to have their natural instinct.
Okay, because that's important, right? Yeah. Relearning the natural instinct.
Yeah.
So far you haven't released any yet. This is the first batch that you are rehabilitating. Okay, we're going to come back and talk more with Bam about what the biggest threats are to the gibbon population here in Malaysia. You'll find out that it's the illegal pet trade. Stay tuned with more on The Future's Female next. Welcome back to The Future is Female. I'm Melissa Idris. With me is Mariani Ramli, better known as Bam, and we're talking about gibbon rehabilitation. She runs a centre here in Raut Pahang. So we're outdoors today instead of in the studio, and I want to talk about the threats that gibbons face, Bam. You talked about the illegal pet trade. How bad is it? I mean, you know, you talked about 20 gibbons being killed so that one baby gibbon is sold in the pet trade. Who are buying gibbons as pets?
Yeah, this illegal pet trade started booming in Malaysia since 2013. along with the social media,
Mm.
Facebook and Instagram. So nowadays, having wildlife as pets, not just gibbons and other wildlife like the leopard cat, the dusky-leaf monkey, or sun bear, it's become a trend here in Malaysia.
Right.
So, sorry, the question.
Yeah. So I mean, so who's buying these gibbons, right? So, I mean, and I see stories. I mean, not too long ago, there was a story about a celebrity buying, a sun bear, or had a sun bear in her apartment, which she said was a dog, and I see social media postings of people trading or trying to sell exotic wildlife, which I understand is not against the law for you to post social media postings, right? It's only if you are caught with the animal itself. So many of the gibbons that you have rescued have come from people who own gibbons as pets. Do they know that it's illegal, it's a criminal offense to own a gibbon?
Sometimes these people know, and sometimes they don't know. For people, they start aware that having gibbons as pet is wrong. They hide the gibbons and they stop showing it to the public. But some people that they're aware that actually having a gibbons as pet is actually hurting the gibbons itself, they send it to us.
Right. So when they are aware that it's illegal, it's causing harm to the animal, they contact you and they say, I would like to surrender.
Yes.
Okay, all right. What about the people who knowingly do it and post it on social media? Because there are celebrities who think that this is a cool thing, right? And they post it and all their followers think it's okay to own exotic animals as pets.
That is the thing that really makes us sad, especially the conservationists out there, not just for gibbons, because our own Malaysian celebrity, the public figure that's supposed to show a good example to Malaysian citizens, you encourage them to kill our natural heritage, to kill the wildlife. You encourage your followers to do the same.
Right.
So there's one time I even commented on their post saying that this is illegal. Please please surrender this to us. And by posting this, you encourage other people to buy wildlife as pets.
Yes.
And what she did was, she don't really delete the picture, she deleted my comment. So can you imagine?
Wow.
This is such a sad thing that happened in our country. Malaysia is one of only 12 mega biodiversity country in the world. We are in these 12 numbers. But then if our mentality and we don't really have this kind of awareness,
we don't take care of what we have, right? So how are you helping to build awareness? Because a large part of it is education, right? You have to teach people that, first of all, exotic animals don't belong in cages in your apartment. And then, gibbons are special and unique to the Malaysian ecosystem and important. So how are you teaching them? What are you telling them?
Normally, when I went to public talk or I went to media, I will ask them the most important: stop the demand, so we can stop the trend. Okay, don't ask for wildlife, don't buy, don't support. The main important thing is we must stop the trade, and also start learning more about wildlife and appreciate them more in the wild, not in your home. Okay. And I also said to them, just imagine you are the wildlife. You've been keeping in a place where you are not belong. So please think. Don't be selfish. Just to think because of your own happiness, you're willing to kill other creature just to make you happy.
Right. So the wildlife trade, the wildlife trafficking trade, is thought to be the 4th most valuable illicit commerce in the world. So there's drugs and there's weapons and then human trafficking. Then there's wildlife trafficking. Do you remember the Lizard King, Anson Wong? That was a huge issue back, I think, early 2000s when the case broke. Have we learned from that in terms of the wildlife trafficking? Do we have enough laws, enforcement? What do you think? You work in this field.
Yeah, like last month, I just started a campaign, Tumpaskan Kejora Amshar.
Tumpaskan Kejora Amshar.
Yeah, this Kejora Amshar, he's an illegal trader. He's been selling wildlife for almost 8 years through Facebook, Instagram, and WeChat, private group in WhatsApp. So nothing. He's freely selling animals there, and until one level, he's been using the Sultan names, saying he get permission from Sultan and from the wildlife department. So it is crazy.
So they all these traders, they use social media to
Yes.
post up photos
Yeah,
and sell.
yeah.
What is their how do they do it? How do they sell? Do they capture the animals from the wild,
Yep.
and then they post it on social media.
The modus operandi is these people will, there's an agent, okay, an agent that they keep on posting advertising wildlife on social media.
Right.
Once they got like someone book and pay deposit, they will ask the poachers to find it in the jungle, okay, and then this poacher will send this animal through bus, because
Through a bus?
through a bus, you know, to put in a small box, because they don't want to be caught.
Right.
So they just send it through a bus where the bus driver will never know what's inside the box.
So they, unless they are caught with the animals, then
Yeah.
they can be charged.
Yeah.
So they just put them in a bag or a box and put it in the bus
Yeah,
cargo.
and send to the buyer. Okay, and the second thing is to make you to make you more excited to buy it, or there's a warranty. If 1 week die, they will replace another one, but you need to pay a bit more.
A bit more
price, okay?
money.
And then the fourth thing, this is their modus operandi. The third thing is, if you're bored with your wildlife, they give you a euthanized package. They can send something for you, so you can just put your animal to sleep.
So if you no longer want your gibbon as a pet,
Yeah.
you can kill off your gibbon. They give you the euthanasia,
Yep.
they can euthanize the pet.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So talk to me about enforcement. I mean, are the laws strong enough? Can we, you know, I mean, they know the loopholes clearly,
Yeah.
as long as they're not caught with the animals,
Yes.
right? What enforcement have we been seeing? Because I'm seeing in the media coverage, every time there's a newspaper article about wildlife trafficking, it's always, you know, a picture of authorities, you know, with seized pangolins and the success stories.
Okay.
But what happens afterwards?
That is why the awareness of the needs of rehabilitation, actually, we need to start highlighted, because the conservation cycle will not complete without rehabilitation for the animals. After confiscation,
Right.
you just cannot release them back like that to the wild. We call it hard release. And hard release proven that 90% of the animal will just die. So
Okay.
rehabilitation is, I can say, one of the most important part of the conservation.
Okay.
You know,
alright.
so not just for gibbons, other wildlife need to be rehabilitated too.
Mm.
You know, before any release, after confiscation, send them back to the wild, and also take care of our forests, stop deforestation,
Right.
or else where this animal will go.
Yeah, especially gibbons, because they don't move. So if
Yes.
deforestation happens, they stay in that area
Yes,
until they just can't live anymore.
yes, until they die.
Until
We're really
they
good
die.
already.
Okay. No, I've learned so much about gibbons just from listening to you talk and to watch, you know, to watch what you're doing here. But as media, as a member of the media, I mean, what are the gaps in the coverage that you're seeing? I want to know how we can get this story out to the public more, so they understand the importance of this.
I think it started from the awareness, especially from the education level. You know, we need to teach young children about the importance of the animals. You know, by watching to Korean drama or watching to the gossips or celebrities,
Right.
you cannot breathe. You just watching that. If this jungle suddenly disappear, how you can breathe? Just stop breathing for a few seconds. Can you breathe without this oxygen?
This is our oxygen tank,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. We should go outside more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here, I'm glad we still like safe from haze.
Yes.
And
It is a
in the
beautiful
city
day.
center. So the awareness and education and enforcement, these three different most important things, need to be strengthened, so the public can see it as important.
Okay. You run this center through your own hard work with your team. You have a team of women, I might add, and some volunteers, and you run it through your own kind of hard work and passion and your own funding, right? So what can the people watching, if they want to help, what can we do as private citizens?
Okay, to be honest, it's really challenging when you start a new thing to make people understand. And we are, like you can see here, the cage, we build it by ourselves, because we want to safe budget.
You built this cage by yourself? So
Yeah.
behind us you can see that's Cinta and Ranga and AWANI. So they are infant gibbons. They're not yet 2 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not yet 2 years old.
Yeah.
So we built things by ourselves because of the what we call constraint of budget. So if people out there, if you think that you want to support this project, you can support immediately by just donate or support us, because every cent can make a difference to these gibbons every single day. You know. And of course, the another thing is, please start talking about wildlife, about the welfare, about the animals. You know, stop having them in your home. Appreciate them in the wild.
Are you optimistic, that we will one day in Malaysia achieve zero poaching? One day that there will be no more poaching, there will be, no more illegal wildlife trafficking. Are you optimistic?
One of my objective of establishing this project is I want to close this project.
You want to close this
Yeah.
project.
My
What do you mean by that?
objective to open this project is I want to close this project, because my dream one day, I don't want there will be no more gibbons to be rehabilitated. People stop having them as pets. People stop poaching.
Okay.
That is my objective. I hope if there are people out there that can understand this importance, please do the same. If you don't have knowledge or experience, you can still do other kind of thing to help the environment. So that thing can be achieved.
Okay, yes. So the objective is, even though you want to help, one day you hope that your help is no longer needed.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Ma'am, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for doing all the work, the good work that you're doing, to you and your team as well. I wish you all the best, and thanks for taking the time to educate me and our audience a little bit about gibbons.
Thank you so much.
They're so special.
Right.
Thanks for watching. I'm Melissa Idris, and I will be back with you at the same time next week on The Future is Female. See you then.